What's up, guys? Welcome back to the crypto world today. Today, we had some breaking news that was quietly released behind the scenes, and it was released so quietly that your mainstream crypto YouTubers like Altcoin Daily and the big names aren't even covering this. In my opinion, this is huge for crypto. This is huge. In the past, we've only had four cryptocurrencies that were approved by the CME for futures contracts. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it was it was Bitcoin, ETH, Solana, and XRP. Now today, literally today, on February 9th, 2025, the day you're if you're watching this today, which is the day it comes out, they just released officially futures contracts for Cardano, Chainlink, and Stellar Lumens. And this is amidst the Bitcoin crash that's going on, right? This is very strange it's very interesting, right? Like altcoins are at all-time lows on their Bitcoin pairs. All-time lows. Here's their Bitcoin pair. Here's Stellar Lumen's Bitcoin pair. Here's Link Bitcoin pair. Yet, for some reason, the CME approved futures contracts for these altcoins that are trading at their all-time lows on their Bitcoin pairs. And it's very interesting when you think about it's also in the midst of this Bitcoin crash, right? And not to mention it was done in silence too. No one is talking about this. No one. I barely found out about it. I just kind of got lucky. I saw it. But you can check it out, right? Today is the first day, and it's super spotty because obviously there's literally like no volume. This is for all of them, by the way, not just Ada. This is for Stellar Lumens and Link as well. But like that's just how it works when a new futures contract gets created. There's hardly any liquidity. But guys, it's interesting because this would not be a thing if people didn't ask for it, specifically institutions, right? They don't just, quietly release futures contracts if institutions don't ask for them, right? It doesn't make sense unless crypto's not going away, right? Why would they do it? Why would they release futures contracts for dead altcoins like Cardano? Why would they release a futures contract for a dead altcoin like Cardano, which its Bitcoin pair, it's all the way down at 384. It doesn't make sense. If Cardano were dead, why would they do this? And out of thousands of cryptocurrencies, the CME only supports 7. So ask yourself, why did Cardano become one of them? Why did Stellar Lumens and Link become one of them, right? I mean, my favorite cryptocurrency is Cardano, but you ask yourself, why did Stellar Lumens and why did Link become one of the 7 cryptocurrencies that the CME's approved? It's very interesting, and so you can see here, if I go through this article, that basically these are going to be the sizes. Mini contracts will be 100,000, micro contracts for 10,000 ADA, and those are the ones for Link and Lumens. And let's look at what this says. Given crypto's growth record over the last year, clients are looking for trusted, regulated products to manage price risk, as well as additional tools to gain exposure to this dynamic market. It's very interesting, guys. Like I said, I don't think this would have been, I don't think this would have just been random when the crypto market's falling. I think institutions are aware now that crypto's not going away, and they don't just, CME just doesn't make futures contracts for no reason, right? Dogecoin doesn't even have a futures contract. Dogecoin doesn't even have a futures contract. There's a reason Dogecoin doesn't have a futures contract and Cardano does and Link does, right? And Stellar Lumens. I haven't researched Stellar Lumens that much, but I've heard Stellar Lumens is pretty good. But it's like, it is very interesting, right? And anyway, yeah, like I said, I do think, we're obviously kind of in a bear phase of the cycle. I could see Bitcoin continuing to dump. And we could very well come to this gap down here. And maybe sweep this low. I'm not saying we can't, right? But my point is, in the long term, I do think crypto's here to stay. Same with Cardano. We could come down, 17 cents. Once again, it's, I'm talking about the long term here, not the short term. But anyway, very fascinating stuff, guys. Yeah, just felt the need to make this video because it's pretty big breaking news and no one's talking about it. And with that, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.